Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I am doing this video to explain you more about major scales, minor scales and pentatonic scales. The first one, major scales. Major scales, it's a sequence of notes and then we have the main rule. The main rule is we need to have always between the third note and the fourth note half of tone, and then between the 7th note and 8th note half of tone. Okay, we have a model like C major scale. It's like a model of major scales because we don't need any sharps or flats to follow the main rule. So C major. Then we have other major scales that we need a sequence of sharps or flats to adapt these new major scales to the main rule. So the sequence of sharps is going to be F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And the sequence of flats, it's the inverse. So we need to start in B and end in F. One example of this can be the major scale. Okay, then the next scales are going to be minor scales. Minor scales have always a relative major scales, and this is very important because we need to find the key signatures of the major scales to construct the minor scale. I mean the sharps and the flats. So how to find a major scales in a minor scales? We have to count the third note above of the minor scale, and that note is the name of the major scale. For example, A minor, the major scales is going to be C major because it's the third note above. And then how to find a minor scale in a major scale? It's the sixth note. The name of the sixth note of the major scale is going to be the name of the minor relative scale. So, for example, C major, the sixth note is A. So A minor is going to be the relative minor scale of the major C major scale. Okay. We have three types of minor scales. The first one is natural, and we have also to find the key signatures, sharps and flats in the major scale, and then follow this rule. Between the second and the third is only half of tone, and between the fifth and the sixth it's only half of tone also. So one example of this can be A minor, and this one doesn't have any flats or sharps because the major scale, that is C major, as I said before, doesn't have any flats or sharps. So it's going to be this one. Okay, and then we have other types, harmonic minor scales. We have to find also the key signatures, flats and sharps in the major scale, relative scale, and then we have to follow this rule. Between the second and the third note, half of tone, and then we have to increase the seventh note, so half of tone. So we will have 1.5 tone between the sixth note and the seventh note. One example of this can be A minor harmonic scale. minor scales. Melodic. We have to find also key signatures, flats, sharps and flats in the major scale, and then follow this rule. When the scale is ascending, we have to have half of tone between the second and the third note, and we have to increase the 6th and the 7th note half of tone. So we have to increase half of tone in both 6th and 7th note. So the result of this is going to be only half of tone between the 7th and the 8th note. And when it's descending, it's the same rule as the naturals. So between the second and the third note, half of tone, and between the 5th and the 6th note, half of tone. Okay, one example of this is this one. A minor, melodic scale. So when it's ascending, it's different than when it's descending. Okay, this is an example of minor melodic scale. Okay, we finished with the minor scales. Now it's the pentatonic scales. Pentatonic scales are penta, it's coming from 5, so it's going to be only 5 notes in the pentatonic scales. And between each note we can only have 1 tone or 1 tone and a half. So the most simple example that I found about pentatonic scale is this one. So, singing. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you so much for your time and watch this video. I hope you really like it, and I hope you can understand what I explained. And that's all. Thank you so much.